Hello everyone, my name is Snowball, and this is Lenna's Inception. It's a really cool little indie game that plays a lot like the older 2D Zeldas, but with its own flares to it. One of which is a really cool, like sort of just built-in randomizer element of how the game works. This will be the perfect ending and will be blind seeded. That I think is a good seed to use for this run. So gonna give a quick countdown and then we are going to be off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so from that screen in Lenna's school, I can actually tell what the boss order is going to be. This one's pretty good. I'm not thrilled about one of the one-phase bosses. You can sort of split the dungeons into two halves that are not actually complete halves. Also, it's dangerous to go alone. That's Henrietta the chicken. We don't really need her on screen, and also the Elder seems to be in a bit of a pickle. This is Lance. He's the hero kid. We're gonna take him to Dungeon 1 to sort of teach him how to be the hero. And we are going to pick up our fast travel item, which is the bicycle. So the overworld and dungeon layouts are all randomized. The dungeon type for Dungeon 8, as well as the boss and dungeon items for 1 and 8 are fixed. The other 6 dungeons are randomized on the boss and the dungeon items. The dungeon items are necessary to, 1, defeat the boss, 2, find like the keys to get to the boss in each dungeon that we don't actually have to worry about. Because this is perfect ending, and also even if it wasn't perfect ending, that wouldn't be important for a very specific reason that I'll get into when we get to Dungeon 8. Lance is also not doing so hot, so we're gonna take his phone and the power of, I think that's Fortitude that he has. Also, this is at least part of the west side of the island is a graveyard, and I realize I just did that out of order. Because this is Paige. She's the librarian. She's gonna help us along, maybe. I say maybe because this is perfect ending, so that means that I'm going to need to do some specific side quests. And let's see if I can't get to the shop real quick. One of the tombstones that I pushed over had a 100 coin bill in it, so I'm gonna go over to Andres the Bear right away, grab a tunic. That is the best kind of tunic you can get. Strength tunic lets you deal double damage to every type of enemy with, oh my gosh, I did not mean to pick that up, with the exception of course, like the bosses. The thing is, you may have noticed in Dungeon 1, in the room where Lance unfortunately died also, I just fell down a hole, there was a strange, glitchy looking rectangle that fell on him. That's 8 Fridge. 8 Fridge is going to be showing up in every dungeon in the item rooms. We're going to whack 8 Fridge a couple of times, and then some specially colored variants of the monsters will spawn. They'll have double health and a fancy effect depending on the color. I don't want to see, okay, that's really good. Only seeing one brown enemy is ideal because those explode. And explosions deal lots of damage, and that adds up quick because you may notice something that you may notice about how this run is going so far. I'm entering a dungeon, grabbing the dungeon's item, and then immediately leaving the dungeon. I can't go that way. That is because... again, this is perfect ending. So we need to get some items to give to the bosses. And we get those from... Okay, there's the bridge. We get those from the side quests. I mentioned earlier, Paige might be helping us on this run. And what I meant by that is... she's one of the side quest characters of the west side of the island, and she wants us to find a grand total of 12 books. So far, we're doing really well on that. I can't actually grab those there yet. Please tell me that this is the right way. Okay, we've got a forest. That's not ideal. But yeah, sometimes book spawns aren't great. There's a total of 16 books that can spawn on a seed, and you need to find 12 of them. That being said, let's see, I'm bad at these puzzles. 4 of the books will always be in a fixed location. One of them is actually being sold by Andres the Bear, who very graciously sold me this strength tunic. I can't believe that that was actually the right guess to get to the item room. Strength. All right, now I can actually pick up snails. That's good. This game loves to ruin my train of thought every second it gets. So I'm going to probably lose my train of thought a lot this run. Gonna grab that book. How many am I at now? 5. Okay. Yeah, Andres is selling one of the overdue library books. I don't know how legal that is for him to do that. But this isn't a dungeon. This is the Bankers Guild. Pretty much, I don't remember the exact plot, but the chairman's doing bad financial things, and is taking over the Prince's Palace, which is on the east side of the island. The chairman is going to drop me into dungeon number 4, and this is a really good layout. So this is extra... You know what, that's not important right now. So dungeon 4 onward, I will be looking for something specific in each dungeon until I find a very funny item. Dungeons 4 through 8 will have a secret room, and one of the secret room items is real fun to have. There's a sort of boss rush of 3 final bosses in a row at the very end of the game. One of them sucks. One of them is a 4-phase fight that is monstrously difficult, at least compared to all of the other fights in the game. I forgot that I had the fish leather shorts, so I could have just gone swimming through that huge pond in the middle of the room. But this 4-phase super tough boss, we don't actually fight, because this very special item that I am very happy is in the game, it can one-shot anything, including the 4-phase boss. The trade-off, or rather the downside to it, is you get 1 use. And if you miss, that's on you. So I definitely will be needing to find that, but this was a very roundabout way for me to say I'm really liking that Dungeon 4 layout, because I can tell based on what layout it is if it has an extra row or column on the map, and the sort of square dungeon 4 layout will always have an extra row or column. And when there's an extra row or column on the map, that means somewhere on that row or column is going to be the secret room. But that's Delvin. He's important. I'm sure he's a great guy. We're on the east side now, and I'm scared because east side layouts recently have not been kind to me. Okay, money bag. I think I saw a book drop recently. Dungeon 5. I'm going to have to fight some spiders, almost certainly. Something that I noticed... Okay, only one. Something that I noticed is the, second room of Dungeon 5 will always just be filled with spiders and locked doors. Which is... In the case of one spider dropping and having a strength tunic, that's actually not that bad. Could be a lot worse. So... Oh, that's actually really good. Alright, I know where the boss is. You can use the bicycle to warp to always 2 guaranteed rooms in a dungeon. The entrance room and the room that is directly south of the boss room. And having that warp point isn't always it's not always something that's necessary. I'll explain why when we're at Dungeon 8. It's real fun. But I just went back in the dungeon.
Well, as you exit the dungeon, I have something very special for you if you'd like it.
Okay.
I've got $500 from Bitten Studio, who says, best of luck to Snowball SMB. We're so happy to see our first little game helping to raise money for a cause as important right now as Doctors Without Borders. P.S. Don't forget to blow on the cartridge. If you'd like more, I've got so much love for you. It's amazing.
Yeah, one comment I will make real quick. Very early on, I did get caught mashing at the end of a run and did not blow on the cartridge, and that is absolutely devastating to have that happen. But yeah, go ahead, Satan. More donations.
No worries. I've got $12 from Lilith Plays, who says, as a fellow Lenna's Inception speedrunner, I'm super hyped to see it in GDQ. I'm staying up late to catch this live. Good luck. Have fun on the run. We've also got $50 from the guy beside you, who says, good luck on the run, Snowball. You got this. Had to make sure to stay up to watch you show off this run on the big stage. We super appreciate all of you with us here right now, whether it's late for you or early for you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching GDQ.
I really hope that this is the right way, because going through that room without being rewarded with the item itself is very scary. These sort of lizard guys, they're pyromelians. We call them lizrobes. They're kind of awful to deal with at times because they have 3 hits of HP. That's a meteor, we don't need that. And once you sort of cross their line of sight, they will shoot a fireball and teleport away. And I'm going to not pick that snail up because every once in a while, that doesn't work well, and that one is exploding in my face. All right.
Snails do.
Yeah, unfortunately. So now I've got the spring, now I can jump. That's good. I'm realizing, this seed is great for books, and I've, barely found anyone else for the side quests, which is honestly fine. As soon as I get that Dungeon 8 item that I keep bringing up over and over and over again, finding the other side quest characters will be no problem whatsoever, and this is Moon. Moon is a seed that, a dungeon layout that is shaped like a moon. I know, real big shock. And it actually fairly frequently has a extra row or column. It's just built very nicely for that. Now we're starting to get into the dungeons that I need like 2 keys before the boss just to get to the item, and it looks like this might be one of them because that's a green key door. Okay, weird. I'm really hoping Dungeon 8 is quick, and also I'm guessing I'm making this pass through the dungeon a lot more stressful than it needs to be. Oh, cool, water. I can just push these guys in. So gray snails have a fancy little attribute where when they're curled up in their shell, they will just explode if you hit them. And that's something that you always have to be careful of. Gray crabs kind of suck. The way these things work is unless you are using bomb arrows, which I don't have because I don't have the bow yet, hitting a surface behind them, or if you hit them with the axe or hammer, which I have neither of yet, and I won't be getting the hammer, they will just randomly dodge your attacks, which can be very, very annoying. Now I need to go to the lab, because much like Dungeon 4, you get dropped into Dungeon 8 instead of just walking in the front door. It is much faster to exit Dungeon 8 because... big shock, the item. But now gray crabs aren't really going to be that threatening unless there's like several rooms in Dungeon 8 in a row that make me burn my arrow supply and my bombs overly quickly. I'm hopeful though that Dungeon 8 will be kind to me. Why? I don't know. Dungeon 8's always the most, not always the most cruel. Honestly, Dungeon 3 might end up being the most cruel. I got that's a rickety dungeon layout to have in a forest. Oh yeah, I completely forgot to comment on forests. So you're not guaranteed to have a forest dungeon on every seed, but if you, at least I don't, no, you're not. I'm pretty sure I had practice runs recently, like this week, that didn't have forests. I'm tired. If you have a forest dungeon, then you will not have more than 1 forest. Each seed is limited to a maximum of 1 forest, which is very handy because the item in this dungeon completely trivializes movement while going through, honestly, anything, except for forests, because the item in this... Okay, one thing that I would like to just say flat out before I get the item and before I really explain the item of Dungeon 8. Everything that you see in this run, except for one thing with the 3 Bears Cottage, is intended gameplay. So the item in this room is going to let me get out of bounds pretty much whenever I want. Forests have trees, though. Other dungeons just have voids. And you can't move through trees. The trees are solid. They're very strong. You know, voids you can just walk around in. It's the abyss. That's what you're meant to do in it. But trees, no. And, I didn't even notice that the door to the south was locked. I'm very happy that I had to fight that skeleton jouster anyway. Alright, so now I know where the boss is. That's good, and I can actually screen wrap in very quickly.
while you're getting that really cool item, the chat, you're going to want to see this. It's really, really cool. Do you have time for some updates?
Sure.
Absolutely. So that add all cutscenes incentive for Mega Man X4, I want to remind y'all that we need to get that met by the beginning of Mega Man X4, and that is our next run coming up right after Lenna's Inception. Right now, we have just passed the 2K amount on that. Thank you, chat. But that is a $5,000 incentive, so we need about $3,000 more on that. I know we can do it, but we gotta do it basically in this run. So if you're loving the action here, I love the spin on Zelda 1, go ahead and donate and add your incentive to the Add All Cutscenes incentive for Mega Man X4. It's hilarious, I promise.
I just screen wrapped into the boss room. I'm not supposed to be in this room right now. So that's going to be a minor bit of time loss because you can't screen wrap out of that cutscene. But spoiler alert, that was Hadasaya, Vampire Magician. I wish I had the item from the side quests that I need for her. Where is this secret room? Okay, there are... I think there's only like really one spot that this can be. Think. Yep. Alright. All of that was for nothing, except for knowledge.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah, alright, now we are in... Why am I over here? Game. Usually the city is the 3 columns all the way on the right. Not always, and not this time. So now I'm heading on to the palace. The palace, at least, no, everything about the palace. No, not everything about the palace. Almost everything about the palace is one of the few things about the game that is always fixed. Okay, I briefly forgot the route. The only thing that is randomized about the palace is this tunic, which is an explosion tunic. Fantastic. So there is a reason why I'm going through this, even though this is like kind of the final dungeon of the game. That is simplicity later. I want to open the door that just takes me to the boss rush, to the final boss rush, now, so that way I don't have to worry about it later. So, wrap around. And yes, again, everything that I'm doing with the glasses to screen wrap and go all over the place, intended gameplay, mandatory gameplay to beat the game. But also this is going to make locating side quest characters very, very quick in comparison to what it would be otherwise. And now it's just fun exploring the city. So if we've got any more donations or messages, now is a great time.
I have so much love for you. And remember, chat, if you're sending in love for Snowball and for this game, please go ahead and put it towards that Add All Cutscenes incentive. We are getting close to halfway on that, so let's meet that before the 30-minute mark. Let's do it. We've got $15 from FluteBoy123, who says, "Hi, Snowball. From a member of your Discord community, I'm watching remotely and sending you some support. Your runs from AGDQ and Frost Fatales were great, and I know you'll do wonderful here, too." We've also got $10 from Callie Mac N, who says, "Another GDQ, another donation during a Snowball run. You're doing amazing, girl. All of us in the Discord are cheering you on."
Thank you, Callie.
We've also got $10 from Erinicus56, who says, "Let's go, Snowball. You're gonna kill it." We've also got some hype for that incentive. We've got $5 from EC Green, who says, "Let's get those cutscenes." And we've also got $50 from Billy Graff, who says, "What are we fighting for?" Doctors Without Borders, can't you read the stream title? Absolutely. If you've never seen Mega Man X cutscenes, they are hysterical. Some of the voice acting of all time goes into them, and I would love to be able to add on those cutscenes. Go ahead and add that incentive to your donation when you donate, either through gdq.gg/donate or through that brand new Twitch donation tool. Right there it says donate to charity. You can click that, and then you can click the little icon that comes up on the bottom left corner of your screen to add it to the incentive that you'd like to add it to.
Oh my god, I just jumped into the sea. All right. Oh, I completely forgot that I needed this guy. That's very fortunate timing to find him. That's the woodcutter. He gives me the axe. He wants me to find a secret because he's been searching all his life for a secret, even though hitting this bush that's on the same screen as him finds a secret, and he'll give us a glitched log, which is very, very important. I believe I am only missing Potter and Tunley and the naked bear now. I don't think I found the bear. Let's go up from the bridge and see what's up this way. But I have found this guy again. Where is he going to be next? Okay, so the traveling merchant will appear 4 times. Once we find him all 4 times, he'll give us a fancy book, which is one of the items that a boss wants. Something that I completely didn't comment on. All the way back at the end of Dungeon 4, we got a phone call from the prince. And he was like, the chairman is holding me prisoner in my palace. I'm stuck. Take my power of compassion and come save me someday. And we are going to do just that, but we are going to take the long route so that way we get the perfect ending, which is the best of all the endings, because it's the happy ending, and I am a sucker for happy endings. Where is Potter and Tunley? Right here. Potter and Tunley run a potion and tunic shop. Their sister, who helps there's the bear, who helps them run the shop, has wandered off, and they want us to find her. The guy at the strange cave was working with Tressa and was like, here's your phone number. I don't know. So we're gonna wait to actually call her. There was a book that dropped somewhere, I think. I'm gonna throw this snail, and I'm gonna pick up this book. But that's not where that item was. What was this item? Okay, that's not important. Now that I have 8 books, now I'm going to go back to the library and talk to Paige. She's like, wow, you found so many books. Let me come with you to help. So now that Paige is following us around, I'm going to call Tressa. Tressa's like, the librarian might find me. And Paige says that she's going to be at the guild. Also, there's an overdue library book in Paige's bedroom, which I find very funny given the fact that she is the librarian. She's very good at this. Let's pick up this snail. There's a book. And that's 10. So now I don't actually technically need any more because there are 2 more that I can grab in fixed locations that I will be going to anyway. Now, I need to find... I don't think I've found anyone over here. Just doing a quick sweep. Yeah, no. Okay, cool. So I need to find the 3 Bears Cottage, the Thirsty Person, the Office, and the guy named Creepy Jack. I would like to find... Well, there's the 3 Bears Cottage. Before I finish that thought, this is going to be the one instance of like an actual glitch happening. I'm going to screen wrap out of bounds, go off screen a couple of times to spawn 2 extra copies of Goldilocks onto the screen, because And now Paige is gonna call me 3 times. Why does she always do this? Her timing is impeccable every single time. Because she'll call you after you find 8 books eventually. She'll be following you and she'll still call you. But anyway, this is the sort of like hide and seek minigame. You gotta hide and Goldilocks has to leave 3 screens. But the fun little thing is it doesn't check for what screens she's left. It just checks to see if a Goldilocks has left a screen 3 times. So spawning a couple extra Goldilockses skips 2 screens, which is very, very handy. And I'm going to just check these because I don't know why. Like I literally, okay, there's Creepy Jack. You know what? I'm gonna go down this hole. And I'm going to really hope that it warps me to that hole later. Because it might warp me to the other hole for some reason.
Can we also go to the hole of incentive updates?
Absolutely.
Good segue. Is that anything? Well, we are almost to halfway on the add all cutscenes incentive for Mega Man X4. I want to remind y'all that that is our very next run, and that is an upgrade incentive that absolutely must be met by the beginning because we have an intro cutscene. It's hilarious, just like all the rest. We have an ending cutscene. We've got cutscenes in between. They've got some of your favorite Mega Man characters saying some incredible lines. So make sure to add that add all cutscenes incentive when you donate using whatever method you want. We've got that Twitch built-in donation tool, and we've got gdq.gg/donate.
All right. I've not found thirsty person. I thought I just needed the office. Gosh, dang it. All right. Well, the thirsty person is going to be, I believe, surrounded by water, unless I completely missed them on a screen I've already been to, which I'm really hoping is not the case. Which is the case. Okay, this happens. They're apparently 1 up from the... My eyes... No. I remember finding them. Oh my gosh. There's so much to keep track of in this category. Let's see. What would be the best way to go about this? That would be the best way to go about this. All right. Going to give them that water potion that we bought from the traveling merchant back on the east side. Gonna get a paperclip in return. Give that to the office lady. She's going to feel organized and give us, I think, a pen. Creepy Jack's going to forge us a property deed. And now we're gonna go to the guild. Now we have to tell this person the names of Tressa's brothers. So that way we can get the phone number of Tressa's mom. And how much money do I have? Because we are going to go rob the bank vault. I need to get up to 1,000 coins in total. So 2 more. There we go. Screen wrap up. There is a book on this bookshelf. It will always be there. And we're going to go upstairs behind the desk. Now, this bank is very suspicious. We are going to deposit 1,000, withdraw 199, and then try to, or 999, and then try to withdraw the last one. They're going to be like, you can't withdraw more than 999 coins. So they're going to give us a, oh my god, there's an NPC directly under Andres. That is, are you kidding me? There we go. Book. Now that is book 12. Pages like, let's celebrate this, go kill 10 marshmallows. Marshmallows are the little pink slimes. Alright, so the traveling merchant, I believe, was next to the woodcutter. So, I was buying a bunch of potions from Andres because one of the other few things about this game that is always guaranteed is whatever type of potion is the first one that he is selling. Whatever that is, it will always be a healing potion. And only having 3 hearts for the entirety of this run, except for the very, very end, that can get really, really rough at times. Oh, that's right. Sass Effects shop. Okay, I'm gonna just get a marshmallow there. Usually, ooh, this is awkward. You never want to go to the strange cave before you have gotten Paige to be like, yo, let's get some marshmallows. Because the strange cave is a great source of marshmallows. The strange cave is I don't actually know the number of waves it is, but it's a battle arena. And all right, we are off to the strange cave. One of the items that we need, we get from beating the wave of Lizarobes. It's a little trophy cup, it's great. But I am going to grab these marshmallows, leave, go back in, grab... How many do I have? Grab 1 more, and then go back in and do it for real. Because we need all 10 of the marshmallows for Paige's cute little cutscene that we're going to just mash through. But she's going to give us an item after that cutscene is over that is one of the 8 items that we need to use the power of compassion that the prince compassionately gave us to spare all 8 of the dungeon bosses. And I need to equip the axe, and let's just get the healing potions on for safety. And while I probably damage boost an unhealthy amount, Satan, if you got any more donations, now's a great time.
I've got everything for you, Snowball. I've got the fact that we are over $3,000 towards the Add All Cutscenes incentive. We are moving on that, chat. I see you. We've only got about 2,000 left to get that, but reminder that we got to get that before Mega Man X4, which is our next run. So add that incentive when you donate. And we've also got so much love for this run and you. We've got $250 from Uthanos, who says, so excited to see Lenna's on the SGDQ stage. With the maybe help of the librarian, it seemed like book puns were required. I made myself a binding promise to watch this run and booked a pass, a light sentence if you ask me. It's time to close the cover on this donation. Word. Thank you so much for giving me so many puns to read and for your incredibly generous donation. I've also got $200 from Dolwolf, who says, Bear and the Three Goldilocks is my favorite fairy tale, bracket. Mine too. Thank you so much for that. Oh my gosh, y'all cracked me up. Please send in more amazing donations with your amazing sense of humor and add them to the Add All Cutscenes incentive.
All right, so now that the strange cave is over, we're gonna have a campfire with Lenna and Paige, and we're not gonna see any of the dialogue, but pretty much it's the gist of it is Paige confessing her love to Lenna, and giving us a thing that we are going to give to one of the bosses. Spreading the love around, if you know what I mean. All right. Boss rush time. Quick little comment, minor flashing lights warning for the remainder of the run. The bosses sort of like flicker a little bit whenever you deal damage to them. So I just want viewers to be a little bit mindful of that. So now we're going to actually go into the boss arena for real for the Vampire Magician, Archangel Hadasaya. And there is going to be a bit of a lore drop upon leaving this dungeon that I will just talk about because I just got into because I'm going to, much like the very adorable campfire cutscene, I'm going to just mash right on through it because text boxes and reading slow when you can just hit lots of buttons. This first phase is pretty much an auto-scroller. We need to get 2 hits in. We've gotten 1. It's pretty much just waiting out this onslaught of attacks from Hadasaya. Second phase, I'm really hoping that where she'll spawn for the second hit of the first phase is close to a wall. Because if that is the case, then this second phase should go well. Alright, she's gonna take 1 hit of damage, start yelling, drop an army of bats from the ceiling, rinse and repeat, and then use the power of compassion. I just realized something that I forgot to do. I forgot to call Tressa's mom. That's important because that will spawn Tressa in a dungeon. And she'll give us the patent, which is now the actual last item that I need for a dungeon. But, lore drop, Lenna is actually the mother of the archangels and got turned into a human by 8fridge, which is the creation of none other than Delvin, the guy from the bridge. That was very unfortunate. He will be showing up soon. But now, time to find this secret room item. That is a plate. It's an explosive plate, I promise, but it's not exactly all that useful. So I'm going to just screen wrap, I think, up to, I guess, the item room? Give me the axe, please. Wait, okay, oh, I just remembered who the, boss of this dungeon is, and this is going to be the hardest fight that I actually have to play. Because, if I'm remembering correctly at least, because I'm pretty sure that this was, yep, Archangel Crabadin, the Doomsday Crab. So, he's one of the bosses that I really prefer to see in Dungeon 2 or 3. Because as I mentioned earlier, the bosses and dungeon items for 1 and 8 are always the same. So Hadasaya is always in Dungeon 8, the glasses are always in Dungeon 8, the sword and the power of fortitude and Lance's phone are always in Dungeon 1, and the Archangel Azrael that we'll be fighting in a little bit is always in Dungeon 1. The bosses of Dungeons 2 and 3, as well as Azrael, are one-phase boss fights. Crabadin could have been there. This second phase here is very scary, and I just completely whiffed the shot.
You are gonna do this. Let's send some love for Snowball, okay?
Usually...
She's got this.
Usually what goes actually wrong in this second phase is Crabadin will just, like, not go all the way back and forth, and I was expecting him to strafe that time, and he didn't strafe. I actually need to be a little bit careful here because I've got half a heart. Crabadin, the thing is, those 2 skulls that sort of orbit around him in the second phase move very fast, and when they're moving away from you, they outspeed you. So that fight went on a little bit longer than I would have liked, but the trade-off is we got to hear the awesome sort of like guitar riff in the second phase boss music. We would not really be able to hear that on the seed otherwise because Sandolphin is not a 2-phase boss, thank goodness.
Speaking of all these 2s, I'm sorry, I gotta cut in for you because I've got 2 of something else. $2,000 from this anonymous donation, which meets the add all cutscenes incentive for Mega Man X4. Thank you so much for your generosity for MSF.
It's not in one of the easy dungeons. Alright, so... Santa Quill. This is probably the boss more than any other that I like to see as a two-phase fight. This is the fight for the first phase. This is the easier strat, and the harder strat I never bothered learning because I just thought this strat was so funny. Why is Lenna? Oh, because I am actually holding down the space bar without realizing it. Alright, so here's the second phase. Alright, second phase is over.
That's how fast Snowball is.
So, the Santa Quill only has 1 HP on the second phase, so as soon as the second phase begins, you can spare him. That's a dungeon I've already done. How about we do one that I haven't done? What layout is this? Rocket ship. Dungeon 6 can have 2 different layouts, either rocket ship or helmet, and honestly, I kind of prefer whichever one I'm playing at the moment. Both, honestly, like both, I'm gonna just screen grab down. Both options are pretty even, with the exception of whenever I have a forest, I want to see probably helmet. No, absolutely not helmet. That is very incorrect. I want to see rocket ship. You absolutely never want to see a forest. There we go. A forest helmet. And that is the item that we needed from one of the secret rooms. That is the old revolver. We got 1 shot, and we're not doing a 4-phase boss fight. Now we've got Murder Tabby, Archangel Catseal.
Oh, it is so cute. I love that thing.
We're gonna sort of lure her over here. Jump, jump, and then she's going to do the... What's the boss in Link to the Past? Helmasaur King, I think? The little scorpion tail thing that guy does. She's gonna do that too. We want her up against this wall because she doesn't move during her second phase, and if she's over there, that means that the memory token will drop in the center of the room. Now we have to hit the joystick in a very specific order. Up, up, down, down, left to right, left, Power of Compassion. That is my favorite direction. You may also notice that I am holding the glasses key down during the boss fights. There are a couple instances of that actually does that does speed things up a little bit. Most notably during the fight against Tentaluchus, which might be this fight. I'm gonna heal just in case it is, because I don't remember, but I think it is Tentaluchus. It's Tentaluchus. So the first phase, the glasses, having them active at all times does actually like double the speed that he moves. Also, I need the center point of Lenna to be lined up with the center of Tentaluchus, and now I hope the Tentaluchus behaves. There we go. So that move, where he's like burrowed underground and charged, usually bounces around the room, and get away from me, please. That's not good. I am going to heal. There we go. Ow. Okay, that time I actually got hit off center, and he still did the thing that he's usually supposed to do only if you're centered properly. That's never happened before. At least I've never seen it. Usually he bounces around the room for that attack, like one of those like DVD loading screens. But if you're lined up in the center, he will, like, most of the time just cancel that attack, and it saves like 15 seconds each time. Now he's a UFO. And after he shoots a certain number of energy balls that eventually turn into bombs, he tries to use the tractor beam, and then we can spare him. Because usually what happens is oh no, it's a forest. Usually you just throw like a bomb there, and then you'll use the tractor beam and suck the bomb up and then explode. And that's not a good idea for him to do. Let's see, where am I going from here? Let's go this way and see what happens. What layout is this? I think I know what layout this is, and I'm not happy about it. I think this is legs. I might be wrong about that. But that is the worst possible layout I could get for a forest, because I cannot screen wrap through a forest because of those trees directly into the boss room. No, down. Oh, the game's no fun. I have to actually walk through the thing. What do you mean, game?
You know what might be fun? Some donations for you if you'd like them.
Yeah, we should be just about there, so 1 or 2 quick ones should be good.
Beautiful. I've got $25 from Codebreaker, who says, "Let's go Snowball. Forged Deeds, a naked bear, Creepy Jack, and the aptly named Capitalist Pig. This game has such a unique story. You're doing great."
All right, now I'm gonna fall down a hole. This is Hydranial. He's not a fan of the situation. This game is full of puns. The way this fight works, this is not a two-phase fight. I almost threw him down the hole, and that's not good, because you throw him down the hole, and either if it's a one-phase fight, he blows up, and we don't want him to blow up. If it's a two-phase fight, he goes down the hole, blows up anyway, and then goes into the second phase. And I almost autopiloted, which would have been really bad. But the way that fight works is for him to start hurling different parts of his statue body at you, you have to pick up an item that was on the ground and throw it at him. So you can actually use a bomb, drop the bomb, pick it back up before it explodes, and throw it at him, and that will count to just sort of speed up the fight ever so slightly. And that's Azure Flail, and now I believe we have only one boss left, which is going to be Sandolphin, and I am so happy that this is going to be a one-phase fight, because Sandolphin... Two-phase Sandolphin is the longest dungeon boss in the game, because her second phase is a bullet hell auto-scroller that, honestly, I'm perfectly fine with not playing, especially after getting styled on by Kerbaden earlier. But now I need to hit her one more time and then hop on one of those rafts to spare her. Just going to shoot more dangerous starfish. There we go. And now, if I can count, which I really hope that I can. All right, cool. There we go. Now, all of the memory tokens are going to give us the, I think it's the Power of Truth. And now we are going to go to the palace. So, there are only 3 boss fights left. Well, there's also kind of mini bosses. Edgar and Alan. They only take 3 hits with the axe with a strength tunic to defeat. I am going to save, just in case of an emergency. So now we have the 3 final boss rush thingy. Here's the chairman. Chairman Mammon / Chairman Gammon, a capitalist pig. And I absolutely love the music in all 3 of these boss fights. So, first attack, usually it's a herd of cash cows that he throws at us, but if you jump in his face right when he turns red, he will punch you, and that just completely skips the attack, which saves a ton of time. Then he's going to dash across the room, and then play Rich Man's Volley because he likes to throw money at his problems. That isn't gonna fly here. And I'm going to just get hit anyway. And you know what? Please don't hit me, thank you. I am going to... Yeah, I'm gonna heal. There we go. Just in case. So, cool little thing about this game that I actually have not touched on prior to this. Once you drop to 0 hearts, you don't die immediately. You are put on critical. After a while, you will regain half a heart, and then that's fine. Delvin. So, this is that 4-phase fight that I was commenting on. We are not gonna do that. The trade-off is we don't get to hear this absolute bop of a boss theme. Now we have the cartridge. Blow the dust out. If you don't blow the dust out, you get catastrophe ending. That happened once to me when I was trying to do a perfect ending run, and I was not happy about that. So I'm always very careful when it comes to that option box. But now we are going to go to the debug menu, to Dungeon 9, the Archangel School. 8 Fridge. Love this fight, love the music. Everything that is going on is intended. Also, you may remember that at the beginning of the run, the Elder and Lance were not doing so hot. Hopefully things go according to plan, and they both will be all better after this fight. Because here's the Elder.
That doesn't look right.
Well, I just used the power of compassion to save him, so he's fine now.
Oh, awesome.
Now unequip all damaging items, and the fake Lennas will fall over. Now we fight Lance, and sometimes Lance will just decide, no, it's not happening. It never gave me the option to save him. That's a new one. All right, so Lance has decided to die again. I don't know why he does this. I really wanted the best possible ending, but alas, Lance didn't want that. So the UI is gonna throw the wall at us, but throwing bombs at the item slots, the eyes, fixes that. And also time is going to be as soon as I pull all of the pizza out of the fridge. Time.
GG!
That was Lenna's Inception, perfect ending, blind-seeded. I feel like that was like a great seed to just showcase how chaotic this game is. Lenna is going to reopen her school. Paige is going to help her. Tentaluchus looks like an egg from behind, and he's going to eat all the pizza. Real quick, shout-outs to Bitten Studio for making this game, and also for making Cassette Beasts, 2 of my favorite games of all time. This is one of my favorite speed games also to run, and probably the one that at least I say that I'm personally best at over all of the games that I play. I think that this is my strongest one. Shout outs to my older sister who had to wear me down quite a bit to, one, watch a speed run, and ever since I watched one speed run, I got hooked on it, and two, wear me down enough to play this game. And now I have about 200 hours on the game, and it's one of my favorite speed games. Shout outs to all my friends at FPE, at Lady Arcaders. Shout outs to Callie MacN, Virtual Cat, Flame Dragon, all my friends from the Sonic community. Shout outs to the Amy Rose plushie, who's back on the stage with me. And shout outs to GDQ for having me and letting me show this game off. Real quick shameless plug, you can find me on Twitch, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SnowballSMB. I like to play indie games, Super Monkey Ball, Sonic, some Pokemon, some Mario, a lot of variety. But yeah, again, thank you so much, GDQ, for having me. This was such a blast.